All right, it's time for another Ask Pastor Chase question. Check it out.
Hi, Pastor Chase. I have a question for you. Why do bad things happen to good people? Thank you.
Oh, wow, that is such a timely question, especially for a year like this year. I think that all of us that are watching right now that are even old enough to understand the wording of that question have to have some degree felt the pain of life this year. And let me just say that we're going to talk at least a little bit more about where that pain ultimately comes from in today's sermon. But while I won't be able to give you an exhaustive answer in just a couple minutes right here, let me just say a few things. First of all, while it's difficult for us to fully admit this, we have to understand that according to the Bible, there are no good people. See, all of us, even on our best days, we all fall short of God's standard of perfections. So whether we think our sin is just a small sin or a large sin, it's ultimately enough to completely contaminate us. I like to use this illustration here. See, there are no good people, right? So this water, pretend like I was so thirsty, I wanted to drink this water, and I told you that I had some poison here. And I'm just gonna open this up and just drop one tiny drop of poison in. Right, that one drop of poison is enough to contaminate the whole thing. Now I don't wanna drink that at all, right? And so there are no good people by nature, but when we put our faith in Jesus, then even though this is so contaminated, look at this. When we put our faith in Jesus, he sees us as righteous. See, that's the only way that God can look at us and see us as clean. So I think a better way for us to ask this question would be, why do bad things happen to us even after we're Christians? Right? Because being a Christian isn't just a pass to have a good, easy, trial-free life, is it? Well, again, I won't be able to give a complete answer in this short segment here, but let me remind us all of three truths that we should all remember in this dark world. Now, number one, sin still exists even after we're Christians. Right? We don't just get whisked away to a perfect world the moment that we're saved. And so we still live in a sinful world, and so we still live with the ramifications of living in a fallen world. This means sickness and health issues and money issues and even death still plagues us after we become Christians. But we also have to remember, number two, that God works all things out for the good of those who love him. Romans 8:28 says that we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good for those who are called according to his purpose. It doesn't just say God only makes good things happen, but that he makes all things work for good. Even if we can't see how something could possibly be good for us in the moment, God can use even the worst circumstances to bring people to him. And then lastly, number three, the bad things that happen in this life should increase our longing for heaven. See, one day, if we're followers of Jesus, we'll enter into a forever kingdom where there will be no more tears and no more suffering and no more bad things that happen to those who are people of God. Like I said, we're about to talk about this in more detail in just a couple minutes, but just remember that there was actually only one time in the history of the whole world where something bad happened to a truly good person, and it was Jesus. And if we put our trust in him, then regardless of how difficult this life gets, then we'll get to live with him forever in a glorious eternity that ultimately we don't deserve. So thanks for asking this question. If you're watching right now and you have a question that you'd like to see answered during this service, you can send a question in by sending it to the email address or the phone number that's on the screen here.